Mental health in our communities these days is something people don't really want to talk about. It's something nobody is willing to open up about and say, this is what mental health is, and this is what I'm going through, and I need help. It's something that we can't directly face because we're so scared of what it will become and what it will make of us. I feel like the problem lies with the fact that we don't know what mental health is. We don't know how to define it. There's so many definitions, and then the common one is just like, oh, if I don't have a psychological disorder, then I'm fine. I don't have any mental health issues. But then mental health goes beyond the psychological issues that we know about. Mental health is a state of well-being which an individual realizes his or her own abilities to cope with the normal stresses of life and work productively and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. So you might not have any psychological disorder that needs like medical treatment, but you are failing to cope with the everyday stresses of life. That's a problem. And that shows that you're struggling with your mental health. Why are we not speaking about it? Why can't you open up and like, I don't know how to deal with this because this is what I'm going through. I don't know how to tackle this. It's something that's making my life miserable. And I need help. Seeking help for somebody who's going through something like this is something very difficult because they don't really know how to open up to us or to anybody because they're so scared of being judged. They're so scared of what people are going to say about them. And the truth is that there are so many reasons why people might find it difficult to open up about a mental health problem. And those reasons we can call them are like pulling them down. Instead of them getting better, those reasons are weighing them down and they can't seek help and they can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. They're in their mind running around telling them that they cannot do it. But if they do seek help, we can find a way forward. We can find a solution to what they're going through. But because there's so many various reasons, like maybe childhood trauma, society rules or society norms, all those reasons, it's like, oh my God, if I say something like this, people are going to look at me weird. People are going to treat me differently. And they don't want that. That's not what they need. What they need is to be treated like a normal human being that's going through like any problem that we can go through. And it's very difficult to open up, especially in our societies, because we're in a society whereby this is not normal. As Zimbabweans, as Africans, can't go through this. This is something that's not normal for us. It might happen somewhere else, but then you don't get mental health problem. What do you have to be depressed about? You have a roof over your head, you get food, your school fees is paid, you go to boarding school, you have a car. What is there to be depressed about? What's going on? You have everything. The fact that I have everything doesn't mean that I'm okay. Materialistic stuff doesn't mean that a person is happy. And I feel like in our generation, people assume that if people have all this materialistic stuff, if they have a car, if they have the latest phone, these people are happy. They're like so good. They have no problems. Everything for them is like flowing. That's not how it works. That's not how things work anymore. With all those stuff, I could be depressed about my social life. Like I don't have any real friends because people think that I'm too rich to have them. People think that I'm too spoiled, so I don't have many friends. all those problems are going to be weighing down on me or on a person, and they can't say that, oh, I'm depressed, because we're just going to judge them like, what do you have to be depressed about? And I also think that our Zimbabwean society doesn't really want to know more about it. Like, we're just being ignorant about the issue. Let's take a look at the amount of suicides that happened, like young adults that killed themselves last year because of relationship problems, stress at home, everything. This was something that could have been prevented had they opened up about it, had they sought help. They might have sought help, but how did we react to when they sought help? Our reaction to when people come forward with their problems has an impact on them, has an impact on how they're going to make decisions so as to help them get out of a certain situation. So if, let's say, they come with my problem, I'm like, oh my God, why would you do that? That's not normal. I shouldn't be judgmental when a person comes to me with their problem. I shouldn't be judgmental at all, because that's just going to make them feel worse. It's just going to make them feel worse. It's just the same as our parents when we tell them our problems. Because the thing is that our parents grew up in a time where they didn't have these outlets that we now have, that we can read about certain problems. They didn't have them. They didn't have the resources we have now. So whenever we're trying to explain certain things to them, they don't understand. Which is understandable, but to some extent, we can no longer say it's understandable for them not to show concern when I come up with my problems. Because, of course, we're going to go to our parents saying, telling them, Mom, Dad, I don't feel good. I might be physically okay. I might not be sick, but then this is what I'm going through, and I feel like I need help. There's always going to be this statement: you go to school, everything is done for you. Why do you need help? This is the sort of things that we see on TV. You're spending too much time on social media. You're spending too much time watching this series of yours, and now you just want to project what you're saying on these shows to your real life. It's not projection. It's not. It's just sometimes we relate to certain things like, oh, this is what's going on in my real life. But when we seek help, we are completely shut down. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. And the words that they use, sometimes the words that they use to shut us down, they make everything worse. They don't help at all. And we can't blame them, because that's the way they were brought up, that's the way they were raised. But the way it's towing down on us, it's no longer something that we can say, oh, we blame the way that they were raised. It's something they now need to work on. It's something they now need to see that times have changed. The way they were raised and the way that they need to raise us now is totally different. They're on different pages. Certain things weren't there when they were raised. I feel like in Zimbabwe, we didn't have those, oh, like Umjolo, the pandemic. But they didn't have that. They were just normal dating. Oh, this guy is getting married to this girl. That was it back then. That was okay. That's done. Things have changed. And this is because we are like, everything is changing around us. Social media is now there. The internet is now there. Everything is changing around us, and they need to change their approaches as to how they're going to be helping us with certain problems in life. Because if we feel like we can't go to our parents to seek for help because we fear how we're going to be judged by them, how are we going to let out our frustrations? How are we going to seek help then if we can't even go to the people that are supposed to protect us with all their life? That's when you hear they gave up. A person who eventually gave up. And people these days are so scared of going to their friends. There is too much fakeness going around, like, oh my god, this is my friend, but is your friend going to be there for you when you go through something traumatic? Are they going to be there for you? Because if your friend was going to be there for you, you could open up to them and have no fear whatsoever that this is going to go out. People are going to be like, oh my god, did you hear what's going on with her? Did you hear what happened to her? Because you would have opened up to a person that's going to keep your problem in confidence. Like, they're going to. And the rumors you hear are so stressful. They'll just add on to the pressure you have of getting better. They'll just be like so much for one to handle. And people would just end up giving up because there is so much toxicity that we are spreading around as a generation. We are toxic to each other. There's nothing positive, or there's little positivity left in us, because if somebody does something to you, the only thing you're quick to do is like, I'm gonna get back at them, I'm going to retaliate. And this is where all these issues are coming from. The people are just going to think about their lives leading into these mental health issues, going to feel depressed. There's going to be severe anxiety and mood disorders, because we can't bring ourselves to be like, if somebody does something wrong to me, okay, hi dude, what you did wasn't right and I didn't feel comfortable and you crossed the line. We can't bring ourselves to do that anymore. It's like, oh, I'm gonna embarrass her. We take things to social media, we destroy the life, everything, the social life. We're like, we're dragging you down. Instead of us being humane, like show the little humanity we have left, is to take a person aside and talk to them. We are going to completely destroy them. We're going to shatter every piece of their humanity. We're going to destroy them. And we wonder why as a society we are not progressing. It's because of how we are acting now. And the other thing that people are so scared of when they're opening up is that being told that it's silly when you're going through something, it's not one of the best things. You start questioning yourself all over again. Like, is this really worth it? Am I being silly? No, you're not. You're not being silly. Your mental health matters. If you don't feel okay, don't try and act like you're okay. Because what you're doing is that you're just harming yourself more. And the end result won't be nice for you or the people that love you, the people that surround you. So, for the person suffering from a mood disorder, anxiety or depression, or any type of mental health issue, it's not your fault. And if you want to get help, get help. Don't think about what people are going to say about you. It is within your right to get the help you need to be a better person for your sake, for your family's sake, and for your community's sake. Because you are a valuable member to any community. You are a valuable member to any room you walk in. And nobody has the right to make you feel like you're not. No one in this world has the right to make you feel like, ah, who's this person? No one has that. And it's so scary what people might say How about you when you open up about these things? Because the world is full of nasty human beings, nasty people. We are so judgmental that it scares us. It scares us. We are so judgmental that it even scares us. Because we can't be so open like we were. How many times or how many pictures do you send your friends when you're trying to post it on Instagram? Because you're trying to make sure that it's perfect. Nobody can find an error within that post. Nobody will be there to criticize you. The whole aspect of life, of living life, we're draining it out because we want everything to be perfect. And the process of draining it out is so exhausting mentally. All you want to do is this perfect? Is this perfect? Should I post this? What type of what type of what type of life should I portray on social media? We're now living two lives. We're like double standards. We don't enjoy the whole live aspect. We're just surviving through the day. There is no, we're draining the fun out of being young, draining the fun out of being Zimbabwean, draining the fun out of being African. We're just draining the fun because of this obsession that's now there of everything to be Instagram perfect. And I feel like we can now all see what it, what it is doing to our society and how we are affecting each other. Because let's take an example of cyberbullying. People are so scared of social media these days. You want everything to be perfect because you're scared that somebody's going to troll you. And people are not nice. The words they'll say, they're not encourage you or anything. You have those few comments that are like, leave her alone. But the people say so many nasty things. And I feel like we're so much better than that. Why would you go to an extent whereby you have to trash somebody on social media? Do you know how they're going to react to such things? Even bullying at school, do you know how the person is going to deal with what you're doing at home? How are they going to cope with it? So our actions have consequences. And it's time we get to understand that. It's time we get to know that. Because what you say might be affecting the next person. What you say could result in the next person committing suicide. So just being kind, because you never know what anybody is going through. I might be right next to you, I might be smiling at you, but you never know what I'm going through. So just being kind, you never know what it could do to somebody. You being a nice person, it could change somebody's life. It could change somebody's day. But no, we are all Instagram baddies, as we like to put it these days. That doesn't fall in the standards we've put for ourselves. But are those standards worth keeping up with if they're going to result in so much damage? Are they? As a generation, I think it's time we get to a point whereby we speak about mental health. We speak about how it is affecting us and we share it with everyone. Because all we're doing is like, yes, there is this thing called mental health, but what can we do to make sure that everybody knows about it? Everybody knows the causes, everybody knows the consequences. And how does one deal when they're going through something? Be it depression or anxiety, how does one deal with it? Because nobody has the answer. We might go to our doctors and we might get antidepressants, but then those antidepressants, some of them have like serious side effects. You might not be as creative as you'd like to be. You might run low on energy. You might just not feel like yourself. They'll just be there to make your depression feel better, but then you won't be yourself. So, how best can we as human beings help another human being? The answer is just not judging them. When somebody comes to you with a problem, don't be quick to judge. Just listen. Just give them that ear that they need. Because honestly, we are all that we got. We've got these organizations saying, oh, mental health matters. But then, I'd like you to call any organization in Zimbabwe. I did call one that's specifically for children. And a friend of mine lost a sister. They had killed themselves, they committed suicide after their O-level results came out because they hadn't passed. And I was like, well, no, this shouldn't be, this is not okay. This is not okay. Let's just like, let me call them and hear what they say. All they say to me was like, yeah, it's a problem. People should be educated about it. And that was it. Okay, your plan is that you educate people about it, but how are you going to do it? You have this whole platform of being able to help people. How are you planning to do it? As a child, I've called you because I'm worried and I've seen that there's something lacking. But all they do is just say, oh, we're there for you, but they're not really there. It's up to us now. Because this is our future that they're messing with. And I don't think I would like anybody messing my future over something that I know we have the power to change. Because we do have the power. The power is in our hands. And we can change this only if we want to. Only if we agree that we need to change our way of living now. And we need to pay more attention to what's going on around us. So yeah, what is going on around you? Do you know how your friend is feeling? And on the issue of kids committing suicide after their results, the amount of pressure we get from parents at times, we are trying our best. We are trying our level best. We're just not sleeping. We're not on our phones all day. We are trying our level best to make you proud. So parents, don't be quick to assume that your kids are not trying hard enough. Take time to talk to your kids and find out what's going on. Because you might find out when it's too late. And That's never a good feeling for a parent, I'd assume. For you to know that your kid was going through this and they were so scared to come to you and talk about it. Because all I know is that people are trying their best. The, be it the stress from school, from uni, be our social life, we are trying our level best not to disappoint you. But if you keep on telling me, oh, you're lazy, all you do is stay on your phone all day, what could be hard about that? Just a few kind words wouldn't hurt, because a lot of things are happening. And yeah, that's all for today. Thank you for joining in today's episode, our very first episode. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. And yeah, remember to be nice to one another and spread kindness.